Hello and welcome to another live episode of Wrestling with Johners, part of the Johners Podcasting Network. I've got a fantastic guest with me today, none other than the French Revolution, Tristan Archer. Tristan, thank you very much for coming on the show today. How are you?
Hello, thank you for inviting me to the show. I'm very happy to be here. I'm good, as good as can be in this period, so I'm good.
Excellent. And this is a rescheduled interview. We were meant to have spoken last Friday. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling very well, so we had to reschedule. So hopefully everybody knows that it's today and are watching at home. But if you are watching at home or listening to this podcast, don't forget to send in questions. Send in your questions and your comments for Tristan Archer. And we'll do our very best to answer your questions on this live podcast. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So hopefully you're watching us and you'll send us your questions. But Tristan, first of all, I want to talk to you about WXW because they're a company that's very close to your heart at the moment. Certainly since they've come back, you've been wrestling more and more for them. You've become one of their featured stars. And of course, WXW are featured on the WWE Network at the moment. But what is it about WXW that you enjoy so much? What do you love so much about the German brand WXW?
It's pretty close to what I've experienced when I was in WWE for the Cruiserweight Classic. It's very, very well organized and it's very pro, if I can say that. Like the venue looks awesome with the big screen and the light and the smoke and the ring. Everything is very, very professional. We had a schedule, so you need to be there at this time. You need to be ready at 10, for example. We have our match at 11, and all that kind of stuff that make me feel very comfortable when I'm working. You know, it's nothing random. Like everything is square.
But no fans, Tristan. That must be quite strange to be wrestling with no fans. I know that many wrestling companies have had to get used to that, but is it bizarre? Is it strange to have no fans when you're putting on a performance?
Yeah, we've been lucky once because one time we got 20 or 30 people in the crowd for the Catch Grand Prix tournament, and hopefully because also it was a different format with rounds and like 1 minute and a half rounds, 7 rounds. So it's quite a weird too. So this and no crowd would have been very difficult, but with the crowd would make it a little bit easier. And for the last taping, we've been lucky enough to have chairs. So basically, I'll finish my match and I'll go into the chairs and clap and cheer for my colleague. You know, so it's around 10, 12 wrestlers watching the other guys wrestling and cheer for them and clap for them. It helps a little bit. Yeah,
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And with WXW over recent months, you've had some really, really great matches, some tough opponents and some hard matches. But one opponent in particular, is it Emil Satoki? He's been a fierce opponent of yours. You've had 3 matches with him recently. Tell us about wrestling him because he's a journeyman, isn't he? He's been in the business for 20 years. What sort of kind of chemistry have you two got in the ring when you go in the ring with Emil in WXW?
I would like to thank WXW for that because I'm in the business for like 10 or 11 years, something like that. And I met Emil in my very first year, but I never been able to face him in the ring. It was one of the guy I was looking up with Tommy and Aleister Black when I start. And I've been very lucky to face Tommy in the very beginning of my career. And I would like to thank him too, because he was the guy who trusted me and bring me to Netherlands and Germany at the very beginning. So thank you, Tommy. And yeah, but like I said, I was there in the very beginning. I looked up at Emil, and I was the kind of guy I wanted to be. You know, he can do almost everything. He can be technical. He can go for a brawl. He can do high fly. He can do everything, and he got a very good-looking body, if I can say that. You know, like he looked like a star. So I was very happy to have my very first match with him in WWE. So now we got 3 matches already. I don't want to spoil but maybe there will be another one.
One more match.
Yeah, if you look at the promo and all the story in the episode, you can easily think that there will be another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very happy with those matches. I got another match with Fast Time Muyu. Was on here already, I think last week. It was a pretty cool match. He's pretty new in the business, and the first time I faced him, it was in Austria, I think. And and at this time, I was just recovering from uh, my very first and very unique concussion.
Yeah.
I got a concussion in APC against Cody Holt. Happening, stuff, bad thing happening, whatever. But I was okay, but I was protecting myself way too much, and I was very sorry for him because I was like really, really protecting myself. After the match with Fast Time Moto, like a year and a half ago on video, and I was very sad for him because I protect myself way too much. People in the crowd love it, but when I watched, I was like, oh damn, I could have given him a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I was happy we've been able to do it again in WWE and give the people a little bit more.
It's sticking with WXW because you've been in contention for their unified world title once before, and you was in the tournaments where you could become number one contender. But it's Marius Alani is the champion at the moment. Now, I know you faced him before, Tristan, but he must be one of your targets at the moment, and you must have this goal of wanting to go for the title and be the champion of WXW pretty soon. Is that one of your targets?
Yeah, Marius is one of my targets, maybe my target, because when I wrestle, I really like to have the best matches of the show, of the card, whatever. And Marius for me is the top guy in WXW.
Yeah.
Clearly, he had the cardio, he got the technique, he got the skills, he got the strikes, he got the look, he got everything. For me, he's the guy who you have to beat that guy to be the guy. You know what I mean? He is the guy of WWE. He's the face. He's a champion, and we got a pretty cool match at Catch Grand Prix.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure if we got the opportunity to get the number one contender, and if we go to the single matches, it would be a very, very, very good match.
Absolutely. And a fantastic story as well, because I think you've been kind of scratching and clawing to be the number one contender. And like I say, when you get there, I know you're going to have a fantastic match. And I'd love to see you with that belt one day. And when you think about past WXW champions, the likes of Walter, the likes of Axel Dieter Jr. and so many others, Ilya Dragunov, it's like catapulted them to the next level. Are you hoping that WXW or maybe having that title can catapult you to that next level?
Yeah, hopefully. If it's not happened with WXW, it will happen one day. Like, I'm working my ass for that. I've been working my ass for 10 years. Never asked for any help. It's like I just a guy who went from 600 people little city in France and work in the factory for a year. That's really easy to pay my flight to go to Canada, and I really start wrestling late because I got no money at home. Like, my parents, not the richest guy in the world. So I went there when I was 24, and since that day, I think I take no day off. Even if I was injured or whatever, I remember myself wrestling with, when you break your thong or whatever, you gotta something around like very hard, very hard to break, whatever. And I remember myself wrestled with that and wrestling a match, and then get backstage and take the stuff that helped you walk and whatever, because I was injured before the match. And it's a long journey. Like, wrestling, it's not a sprint. It's not a very fast run. You need to be there day after day and work harder day after day to be on the top one day.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say, you've said you've been in the business for 10 or 11 years. Do you feel that you're in your prime now? Do you think that you're, at your peak as a performer, as a wrestler?
My wrestling skills, I think my wrestling ability, yes. My body, not that much. Like I feel fresher in the past. I can still go for like a 15 minutes or 20-minute match, but the next day I will feel it. When I was younger, I can go and go and go and go and like I can do like I don't know 4, 5, 6 matches a week. I don't care. Now it's the recovery. It's pretty harder.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, from what I've seen, I think you are at your peak in terms of your experience, your knowledge, and your ability in the ring. But let's go back to when you first started, because you played a lot of rugby to start off with, didn't you? And then you transitioned from rugby to pro wrestling. But what was that transition like for you? How did you make that decision to want to become a pro wrestler? Was it because you were a fan of pro wrestling, or you knew somebody that was in the business? How did that happen for you?
I was a fan of pro wrestling. Like I was 5 or 6 years old, and I was a Saturday, no school in France on Saturday, and I wake up. It was 8 or 7 in the morning. I don't remember well, but I went to the living room and take my breakfast, and my father was watching WWF at this period, and it was the Undertaker entrance. So the TV turned black. I heard the gong, and I was like into it, directly into it. And since that day, every time a teacher asks me, "What do you want to do when you're going to be a bigger or an adult?" and I say, "Pro wrestler, pro wrestler, pro wrestler." So, like I said, I came from a very little city in France, and the sport that came closer to this was the rugby and the handball. So I
Yeah.
played this, for the contact and be strong. And then I moved to a bigger city, and I become amateur wrestler. Uh, like Kurt Angle and guys like this. It was pretty cool because after 2 years they asked me to do the national competition. I declined because I didn't want to do it. I have to pay my flight and the hotel and stuff like that, and I don't have money at all. I was broke. So basically, I didn't do it. But the next year they asked me again, and next year they asked me again, and then I have to stop because I moved to Canada to learn wrestling. But it was a very good experience, and I think that really helped me to switch into pro wrestling.
Right. Okay. And you trained with Lance Storm, is that correct?
Yes,
Was that
best
the Lance
experience.
Storm Academy?
Yeah, best experience ever. Really, like I really
Tell us
like
about that
really.
then, because to have the opportunity to go to Canada to train at the Lance Storm Wrestling Academy with the legendary Lance Storm and his team there, and that was kind of like fairly early on in your career, wasn't it? That was probably a very,
My
very
first
valuable
training.
experience for you.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I didn't speak English at all when I
Right.
went there. So during the first month, I just watched the guy doing something and try to do the same. So for a month, it was pretty hard for me. Not really hard to do, but really hard to understand.
Sure.
Just a little story. The very first week, I went to a supermarket to buy me some food, and on the way back, I lose my way to the house, and I was like walking around for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. And at some point, I just stopped people in their car, and I saw them the picture of the house. And there's a guy, because Canadian people are very, very nice.
Yes.
There is a guy who drive me for an hour and a half everywhere, all around,
That's
because
awesome.
all the quarter are the same. It's Canada. It's pretty new. It's not like England and France. Everything is pretty new over there, and everything is built the same. You got a sports, a baseball sport, whatever. Then a supermarket. Then the town. Then the few houses around. Then a gym. Then another few houses around, and then you move to another quarter, and it's the same. baseball, supermarket, houses, blah blah blah, and they all look the same. All look the same. So the guy drives me around, and I knock at, I don't know, like 25 houses maybe, and finally I find my way back to my house, and I ask the guy if he wants something like gas money or whatever. And the guy just tell me, no, I'm good. I'm very happy you find your house, and I wish you a good stay or a good vacation or whatever. And what was my very first experience with Canadian people, and Canadian people are the nicest people in the world, really. Like
100%, 100%.
yeah.
And did you feel? I mean, how long were you in Canada for? How long was you training with Lance?
3 months. 3 months. 5 days a week, 3 hour and a half a day, just for the wrestling. Because in the afternoon you went to the gym, you can go for cardio, you can go for a lot of different stuff, and then Storm is actually the same guys as you can see in the ring. It's not as much like this, but is very strict, is very direct. We went for a month and a half or cardio in the morning. We do drills and stuff like that. And after a month and a half, he stopped and he said, okay, I'm not your mother. If you want to be a pro wrestler, all that stuff, cardio stuff, workout stuff, you have to do it by yourself. I will not be there, and I will not grab you by the hands and make you do it. So now we're gonna stop this, and we're just gonna do wrestling. And it's the same for the very last day. He told us, like, okay, you pay me that much money, but if you're not good at wrestling, I will let you know that you're not good at wrestling. And if you use my name, and if a promoter contact me, I will tell him that you're not good for wrestling. So I'll let you imagine the pressure.
Oh yeah.
You know? 3 months of training, and the guy is just looking in your eyes and say, hey, if you're the shit, I will tell you you're the shit. But it fits with Landstorm. The gimmick, the guy, strict guy, the very like angry face, whatever. He's a nice guy, but I like people who told you stuff honestly. Yeah. Because it's important in wrestling. You know, I'm gonna be in the ring with somebody else, and his heel's gonna be in my hands. So if my teacher, Landstorm, told me and I'm good because I gave him money and I'm not good and I hurt the guy, it's gonna be on me, it's gonna be on him.
Yeah.
But basically I give him money and he doesn't care. If I am no good, he's gonna tell me you're not good.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I was lucky. He gave me a very nice feedback, and basically, if he hadn't, I would have stopped. Really, like some of the guys who were there with me got very bad feedbacks. I met one of them when I was in Los Angeles for a show against Timothy Thatcher. And I heard Frenchie. The guy was drunk in the crowd, of course. And he got very bad feedbacks from Lance. He wrestled for a year, something like that, and completely stopped. And I met him like 8 years later in California, like I said. And he said, oh yeah, Lance was right. I was the shit. Okay.
Yeah. But like I say, you need to be able to take that honest feedback in order to know yourself and to improve. And like you say, you've got somebody else's body in your hands when you're in the ring. So they need to be able to trust you. You need to be able to trust them. But just switching subjects a little bit now, Tristan, about the French pro wrestling scene. So you've been in the business just over 10 years, 11 years. How have you seen the French business, the French wrestling business, develop or grow or evolve in the time that you've been in the business? Have you seen many changes?
Yeah, it's a big evolution. Clearly, when I start, nobody wants to wrestle with a French guy. Nobody. Like, some people came to wrestle in France because we got a very big promotion here. Wrestling Star is not big because of the quality of the wrestling. It's big because they have like 2 or 3 shows per week with very big crowd. It's the oldest one here. They have they can run a show with 2,000 people mostly every week. So it's pretty big. Like I think they bring Walter, they bring Marcus Kings over there, they bring a lot of different foreigners. But like nobody really liked to wrestle with those French guys. So when I start to wrestle, I have to stay in front because nobody wants to book me outside France. And like I said at the beginning, Tommy Hen had the chance to face him in catch, and he was really pleased with the match. And on the next day, I was supposed to wrestle in Netherlands in a tag team match, and Tommy was supposed to wrestle against David Richards, and David had a flu issue in England, so he never showed up in Netherlands. And the promoter asked Tommy, "You want to face this guy or this guy?" And Tommy said, "No, I want to face a French guy. We had a very good match yesterday. We're gonna do better today, so please give me Tristan." So basically, after this match, the Netherlands promoter put me in the main events, and then some people in Germany saw the match and put me in the main event in different promotion in Germany. So that was the very first step for me. And because of my work, the European country start looking up at French wrestler, if I can say something like that. I opened the door for the French wrestler, and now you can see guys like Senza, like Aigle Blanc, Christianium, Layen, some guys like this working in Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, Switzerland. England, it's a little bit harder. I think Senza only, but if you look at 10 years ago, if you were French, you're just gonna wrestle in France. So it's a very big step for everyone.
Big change.
Here.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mentioned off air, Tristan, that I spoke to and I interviewed Tucker, the Northern Irish wrestler, on the podcast a couple of months ago. He's the current Aya Catch champion. And you two had a tremendous match a few months ago where the title changed hands. Now, he said on the podcast that you were the man as far as French wrestling is concerned. You were the man, obviously the figurehead of French wrestling. But do you feel a sense of responsibility? Because do you feel any pressure with that sort of statement being put on you as being kind of like the man, the face of French wrestling?
I don't feel like a pressure. First, I would like to thank Stoker for that. Is the guy really, like, he gave me a very good match. Unfortunately, the ring was pretty hard. The French ring are really, really hard. So we've done a match with not that much bump, but we put a story that we don't need to take that much bump, and we build up something pretty cool. And he is very athletic. Is very good in the ring too.
He's a great wrestler. Yeah.
We've done something really cool, especially for our very first match together. But yeah, I don't feel any pressure about being considering as a face of French wrestling. I'm not considering myself like this. Like, for me, the best French wrestler of all time is Andre the Giant. He's not the best technical, he's not whatever, but like, he's the guy. When you think about French wrestling,
oh yeah,
there's nobody came closer to him ever at the moment. But like, the only pressure I have is when a promoter asks me for a French guy. It's like, okay, I'm gonna think very like carefully about it, because if I gave a name and the guy screw up, it will be on me.
Yeah.
So I don't give name because they're my friend or whatever. I give name because they deserved it. Like I did for Aigle Blanc in WXW. They asked me for a French guy, and I said, okay, Aigle is very young, but he's very unique. If you look at what he can do in the ring, his high flying stuff, his strike and stuff is really, really, really good. So you can trust me if you want to bring him to the show. And he didn't disappoint me at all. He did crazy matches over there, and everybody loved him. So I'm very happy with that. But I don't think any pressure with my dog.
What's your dog's name? What's the name of the dog?
Riley.
Hi, Riley. Hello. Oh, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
We've had some questions, some fan questions, Tristan. I'm going to kind of throw out to you quickly via YouTube. We've got Honest to Beyond Reasonable, and they've asked, "What's your favourite match in All Stars Belgium? Also, do you enjoy working on their shows?" So, All Star in Belgium, I'm guessing you've appeared for them a number of times. And do you think that we'll ever see All Stars come over to the UK? But first of all, your favourite match for All Stars in Belgium?
I do have two matches that I remember. One was a triple threat. I don't remember his name, but he came from OTT, tag team guy from OTT with a funny gimmick. And the other guy was a guy from Netherlands with another exotic gimmick, like he was using the Force from Star Wars.
Okay.
And the match was really cool. We've done some very good stuff with the guy from OTT, and the guy from using the Force kind of lost all the spots in the match. So with the guy from OTT, we just looking at each other and try to not laughing in the ring. It was pretty cool experience. And the other match was. I'm very bad with the name, so I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine.
The champion, the former champion, it's from Hungary. It was a very, very, very nice match too. But I don't think they will come to UK one day, because for the moment it's pretty hard for them to do it in Belgium. Yeah. Already, so I don't imagine them moving to the UK.
Yeah. And one more question. I think it's also about Pro Wrestling All Stars, but looking forward to you defending your PWA European All Stars Championship against Rami Romeo in Belgium. How are you feeling about your next title defense against presumably the most popular in-ring competitor in Belgium? So your next title defense will be against Rami. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, Rami is a very nice guy. I think he was supposed to stop his career because of he got a neck injury. But he's lucky enough to get this one extra match with me. So I'm really looking forward for this match. He got that kind of gimmick that you want to be behind him. You know, yeah. You got the cool music, the cool attitude. You get the energy that bring the people behind him, and it is very good in the ring too. So yeah, I'm really looking forward for this one. Hopefully, it's gonna happen very soon, before 2022, for example.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, if it could happen this year, would be great.
Yes, unbelievably. And so my next question is about facing UK talents, UK competition, and you've been over to the UK a few times before. What are some of your favourite matches or memories of coming over to the UK then, Tristan?
Oh, I got one match for Progress. I love the atmosphere. Like, I really love the fans over there, the energy.
They're very loud, aren't they? Very loud, very enthusiastic. Yes.
Yeah. A crazy experience. Like, I love when the crowd is really into it. You know, when you can feel that they're behind you or against you or whatever. It's very unique. I also have some matches for Kamikaze Pro, and I do remember one. I was supposed to do a promo against a guy, and I thought the guy was a heel. And it was face. And basically I say, hey, stop lying to the people. You're a blah, 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 blah. And when I come backstage, I say, hey, I'm face. I'm not lying to the people. I'm a good guy here. I was like, yeah, I'm French. Don't worry. It will be fine. It will be fine. I'm French. They can understand that I don't speak English, or I do blah, 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 blah. And we start laughing about that. And it was street fight. And I do remember a spot with a keyboard, you know,
right,
computer keyboard.
Yes.
And I just remember like taking the stuff back of the neck, and I see all the stuff flying around.
All the keys flying.
Yeah, it was a cool match. The only stuff was painful. This was this because it's really painful. And I've done some crazy bump, but this one was pretty painful. I do remember wrestled with Dan Mahoney.
Dan Maloney, he's an
Yeah,
amazing wrestler. Yeah.
in his very first year of wrestling. Omari too.
Yeah.
Uh, when they all started when with Kamikaze, and I still watching them like growing up in the business. Dan got a fantastic body at the moment.
Yeah.
Like he's a beast. He's a monster. Like I wish I can be like him right now, but I'm too fat for that. But like
No.
yeah, he looks amazing. And Omari just have a match last year, I think, or a year and a half ago against Senza. So I was happy to see Senza, a guy I had to grow up in the business, against Omari, a guy I wrestled when he really started. I think I was his third or fourth match in Kamikaze. So I was happy to see them like working together and have a very good match. I was like, okay, the new generation is working their ass too, and wrestling's thing never gonna die.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And you've mentioned some really great names there. And you mentioned Dan Maloney at the very beginning of his career and where he's kind of got to now and how he's developed. And he's probably either number one or number two best wrestler in the UK at the moment for sure. And we got one more quick question. Hey Tristan, be great to see you back in the UK soon. We know there's restrictions at the moment because of COVID. We know there's not a lot of wrestling going on, but like I say, you got fans over in the UK here that would definitely like to see you over here. Maybe 2021, maybe 2022, but soon. It's got to happen again soon.
Hopefully, as soon as possible. Trust me. Like I wish only this. Like I love staying at home. I'm not used to it. At the very beginning, I was not used to it. When you used to wrestle every weekend, when you left home on Friday, get back home on Sunday night, Sunday morning, and get back to regular work on Monday, and have no day off. I've done this for like 9 years or 10 years. Like the very first year was not that busy, but after a year, I was very busy every
Yeah.
weekend and every week. And when you get used to that kind of life, when everything stopped, it's very like weird at the beginning. You kind of enjoyed it because for the first time in years, you've been able to stay at home on a weekend. Went to my mother's house, for example, and say, "Hey, hi, mom, can I stay tonight?"
Yeah.
But I can't stay tonight. So we're gonna stay together for 2 days, and that's nice because it's been a very long time. But after a month, it's quite boring already.
Sure.
And no,
Sure.
no, it's almost a year and a half. So almost 2 years of yeah, cool. We're gonna wrestle for WWE doing a taping, so it's 4 days in a row, and then nothing for 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to get
It's,
back on the
it's
road every weekend,
yep.
don't you? Get back in that grind. But I suppose the break has given your body a chance to heal and your body a chance to rest up. But like you say, mentally, you kind of want to get out there every weekend, don't you?
No, like for me, it's the opposite. Really, like I never been so painful since I have to stop wrestler. Like
Really?
the
That's
wrestling.
interesting.
Yeah, it's like when you wrestle every weekend, your body doesn't have the time to be in pain because it can't be in pain. If you are in pain, you have to stop. And when you don't want to stop, you don't want to stop. Your brain gonna take the control of your body. And now that I have to have some break or whatever, I don't know. I feel a lot of different party of my body that are in pain for no reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wake up in the morning, pain in the knee. I was like, yeah, why?
Yeah.
Pain in the lower back. Yes, why? Like I wrestled for 10 years in boxing ring in France, and I never woke up like this. And since the COVID, sometime in the morning I wake up and I got lower back issue. I was like, kind of weird, but it's life.
Yeah. Yeah. So the sooner you're taking more bumps, the better, I suppose. The better. At least your body will kind of toughen up again, I suppose. Get ring ready. But can we talk about the Cruiserweight Classic then, Tristan? Because it's been nearly 5 years ago since you were in Florida for the Cruiserweight Classic. You were Clement Petiot, and it must have been an amazing experience that you look back on with very fond memories. But when did you kind of first get the call up to say that you were going to be part of this Cruiserweight Classic tournament? Because I remember it vividly that the tournament was fantastic. It was so different for a WWE event. You had some of the most amazing wrestlers from all over the world as part of this tournament, and you were there representing France. But when did you first get the call up to be part of this fantastic tournament?
Yeah, the first call was after my second tryout. I did a first tryout for the short story. I was working in Germany, and WWE commentator, for the TV German TV, saw me on the show and just sent picture to the WWE recruitment team. So basically, I have no clue that somebody was looking at me on the show and sent picture of me to WWE. And then I get a mail saying that they want to see me in London at a tryout. I was lucky enough to meet the guy who was doing the commentary in France. He used to do the commentary in different house show with French promotion, and I met him there. And I sent the mail. I said, "Hey, do you know this guy? Does it look official for you?" And the guy said, "Oh yes, I know it's official. You can go there." So I've made a big diet. I got vein on the abs. I think I've never been so ripped, but I was like 88 kilo, like very, not small, but like very thin. And for the first tryout, like they don't look at me at all.
Really? Wow.
88 kilo. I was like, not very good experience for me. So the next year, I send them another mail. I said, okay, I know I was very thin and small the first tryout, but that was not the weight I'm used to be. I'm usually around 95, 96 kilo. So if you want to see me again, I would be pleased to come back. And they give me another opportunity. So I went there again, and I do all the drill twice, and I do all the stuff twice because it was we were not being able to pair up. We were like 15 or 16, no 15. So one guy was alone all the time. So I've done the drills twice every time. And basically, they really like my work, and told me at the end of the trial that I will be a part of WWE one day. So I was waiting a whole year, and I was about to send another mail and say, "Oh, if you want to see me another time at a tryout, I will be pleased to be there once again." And like a day or two before, I get a mail asking me if I can be under 205 for June. And I was 220, something like that. It was 6 months away. So I said, yeah, easily 15 pounds, not that much. I can be under 205 for June. And Regal contacted me. He called me, kind of surprised me because I was like, oh, hey, okay, hello, I don't speak English. So when somebody calls you in English, it's pretty weird. And it took me a little bit of time to realize that I would be a part of it. And then everything went very fast. I got the flight ticket, the hotel, and like I said, for WXW, it's very well organized.
Yes,
we got a plan for everything. You need to be at the PC at 8, dressing like this. You need to change and be ready at 10 to do a workout session. We're going to give you clothes for that. You need to be ready at 12 to talk with your agent. That's going to be him, or him. And it's very nice, because you don't have to stress about anything. Like they bring you food, they take care of everything. So the only stuff that you have to take care of it's being good in the ring.
Yes.
And hopefully I did well.
Yeah, and your time in the PC, either preparing for the tournament, you would have seen the likes of Triple H walk around, and I know Daniel Bryan was there. You had all these top wrestlers from around the world. Was it a strange, bizarre feeling, kind of seeing these superstars, these wrestlers on the TV, and then being there in the same places doing like the Triple H's, the Daniel Bryans, all the American agents and producers and colleagues from WWE? Was it an interesting experience?
Yeah, I'm not the guy who's been stressed by that kind of stuff, so I was like very like relaxed. Like it was cool. Like I used to have show with Legend. I was on a show with Ted DiBiase, that kind of real big name
Sure.
Since the very first day, and I like to treat them like we are not the same, but kind of,
Yes.
because I think they are kind of how to say that, but bored of being treated like a superstar. I treat them like with respect and everything that they deserve.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna be like a fanboy or whatever. I just talk to them like they are the same colleague as I can have in WWE locker room or whatever. It's like, and I think it's more likable for them. Like having a normal conversation. Like I have a show in Qatar with Marc-Henri, and we talk about like 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes about the movie Joker.
Right. Yes.
But we don't speak about wrestling at all. Like we speak for like 30 minutes, 35 minutes about a movie, because there are normal people like us,
Of course,
like me, like you, and at the PC was the same. Like I watched Daniel Bryan train and just try to see what kind of workout he was doing and stuff like that. And at the hotel, I went with Kota Ibushi and Rick Schwan and all the other guy who went to another room, and we just play video games. Like normal guys having a normal life and playing.
Of course.
And that's all. Like, what I can say more? Like, no.
Well,
Like
let's
normal.
talk about the match then. Let's talk about your first round match against Cedric Alexander, because I remember it as if it happened yesterday. It's a fantastic match. Two different styles, two different types of wrestlers with yourself and Cedric, but it was a hard match. You both gave a good battle, but you did lose. We know that, but. What was your kind of thinking back 5 years ago then, Tristan? What's your kind of memories of that match and that experience? Are they good memories?
Yeah, like the funny thing is we booked the match in like 5 minutes and they gave us 3 days to book it. So after 5 minutes, everything was clear and done, and we got just one issue on one spot. And we get an agent. We asked the agent. They said, no, this idea was better. I took this one. Okay, perfect. That's all. So basically, we just have a lot of fun in the ring. I wish that we have a little bit more, because I think we had a good chemistry.
Oh yeah.
So with 2 or 3 minutes more, we can have give the people a little bit more too. Because the story is that we have like 6 or 7 minutes entrance included. So after I make my entrance, the guy say, okay, 4 minutes and a half left. I was like, what the fuck? Really? Okay. We finished the match, and Regal was backstage. Mr. William Regal was backstage and told us, oh, you've done too much. I was like, oh shit. He said, but it's fine because it was a very good match. So we're gonna cut something else.
Fantastic. At least it wasn't your match that they were going to edit.
Yeah,
That's really good.
like they trust you to do a good match in that's like 5 minutes or whatever, and if you do extra time or shorter, I feel kind of disappointed of myself, but because of what he said just after, I feel like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
like it was a little bit too long, but basically they really love it, so it's fine.
absolutely. And for me, it was one of the matches of the first round. It was a fabulous match. But I mean, that opportunity with the Cruiserweight Classic, do you feel that it kind of propelled you to the next level with your wrestling career? I mean, you went on to win numerous wrestling titles around Europe, and I think I've got it here that you've won about 10 wrestling championships around Europe between 2016 and 2021. So in that short space of time, 10 championships. So that opportunity with WWE in the Cruiserweight Classic, in my opinion, it kind of propelled you to be more of a household name around Europe and gave you more opportunities. Would I be right in saying that?
Yes, it gave me they put the light on me, basically,
for sure,
and that opens some door for me once again. And I just I just try to give the people what they're looking for. They ask me to, okay, we want you to do a good match. Okay, let's do it. Like I never try to do something I won't like to do.
Yeah.
Like if the promoter tell me, yeah, let's come and do a no DQ match and broke this table, blah blah blah. I'm not a fan of hardcore wrestling at all. Like I did once, I think, and basically I booked the match the way that I don't take any chair shot or anything. Like you got a very huge piece of wood, and I told the guy, okay, grab it. When you grab it, I'm gonna kick you in the balls, make it fall. So the wood was on the floor, and I say, instead of hitting me with it, I'm gonna put my feet over it, grab it, and pick me up with the wood between the legs. So basically it was kind of, like into my balls, and the people just get crazy because I kick him in the balls and he used a wooden board to, put pressure on my balls. So I send my balls crazy and I don't get even hurt, like I just try to protect myself all the time in this kind of match because I really don't like them.
But there's a way of using weapons without it being too ridiculous or too hardcore, and to still keep the basic wrestling match alive, really, without it going too hardcore. And I respect your kind of views on how wrestling should be, most definitely. But can I talk to you about dream opponents? Now, you've wrestled hundreds of people all over the world, all over Europe and across UK and in America. But do you have a wish list, like of dream opponents that you'd like to face at some point in your career, whether it be in Europe, in the UK, in America? Have you got any kind of superstars or wrestlers that you'd like to face?
Every time people ask me this question, I say everyone. It's something I really love. It's like I love to have a good match with people who start to wrestle. I love to have like crazy match with very, very good wrestler too. It's like I love to have a guy and force him to bring everything he can do in the ring. And I love when the people realize that, oh, they give us a lot, If I have to throw some name, I would say Dolph Ziggler, I would say Daniel Bryan, Ciampa, Gargano, Pete Dunne, Walter, Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, when I was in the, okay.
Yeah, when I was in the Cruiserweight Classic, Kota Ibushi asked me to have a match with me, and his agent said, "Yeah, yes, a match with Kota, yes," because Kota doesn't speak English at all, and his agent speak English, and he was asking me, "Yeah, you together, match." I was like, "Yes." Never happened, but like just the feeling that he wanted to have a match with me was very nice, and because for me, he's
He's one of the greatest, isn't he? He's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely my top 3 or top 5 guys in the world. Rick Swan too. I would love, because I love the guy, and I know we can have a very good match together. If I can have some new matches with Jonathan Gresham too. I used to wrestle him 8 or 9 years ago when he was wrestling in France, and I wish we can have another match right now because I grew up, also grew up, and I'm pretty sure we can have like a very good match too.
Absolutely. And now that you've both developed over the years and you're both at the peak of your performance, that'll be an amazing match. But changing subjects ever so slightly, I want to talk to you about your tattoos because back in 2016, I don't think you had any tattoos, but over the years and more recently, you've kind of got some awesome artwork on your arms and your shoulders. Dragon Ball Z in particular. You're a big fan of Dragon Ball Z?
It's all it's I got 2 passion, and I think I grew up with the both of them at the same time. It was manga and wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of wrestling and manga since I am 5 or 6 years old, and basically there's the only 2 things in the world that I love. So I decided a few years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, to put tattoo on my body, and I just decided to put only manga tattoo.
There we go.
And they all have a story. Like you can see, there is the sun over there and the moon over there. It's the 2 sides of the people.
Yeah.
Because all tattoo have a meaning for the guy who does the tattoo on himself. So every part of them got a little story, a little signification for me. Around this one, it's the family. So it's from Dragon Ball, and you can see Son Goku, his father, and over there it's Vegeta, his wife, and his son. So it's the family, because for me, family is the most important thing in the world. I can die for my family. I can kill for my family.
Of course.
That's
really cool.
And that's all. Basically, I was waiting. Like I said, I never got a lot of money. Never ever. Hopefully, it changed a few years ago when I became a teacher. Also, because I'm a teacher, I'm a wrestler and a teacher. Because wrestling is cool, but at some point you need to get some money, and you need to think about the future. So when I started becoming a teacher, I was like, okay, I got some money, I will do my tattoo finally, and I really start like late, but I've done both arms very quickly.
They look fantastic. Any plans to get any more? Have you got any other symbols or no? No, you're happy with what you've got.
Arms is fine. Maybe finish the calves. I got a big one on the calves. Maybe finish the whole calves, but that's all. Like I don't want any tattoo on the chest, on the back.
I think what you've got looks very cool. It looks very cool. But Tristan, as we wind down the interview, as we get close to the end, if you've got a message for your fans out there across France, across Europe, the UK, you've got tons of fans over here in the UK, and maybe the US as well. We have a lot of US listeners. What message would you like to give your fans out there that's watching this or listening to this right now?
I don't know how it is in the US at the moment for the wrestling fan, but as soon as you can, please come back to the show. We miss you a lot. I've been lucky enough to wrestle, but with no fan, it's really weird. And you are part of the show. And I hope, like everybody and every other wrestlers, realize that without you, we wouldn't have been a wrestler. So please come back as soon as you can, and thank you for all those years being there for us. Thank you very much.
That's really awesome. That's really awesome. But before we let you go, an opportunity now to give us your social media links. If you know your links for maybe Facebook, Instagram, where can we reach out to you, say hi, learn more about Tristan Archer? Of course, a lot of your matches are on the WWE Network now with WXW and the Cruiserweight Classic. But if we want to say hi to you on social media, where can we do so?
I think all my social media are Tristan Archer. So if you go on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, just put Tristan Archer on the research bar, and you will find me. I usually answer everyone if you polite and if you say hi. I will text you back. So don't be shy. It's a good expression. Don't be shy. Send me a message. I will answer you. I answer everyone. So please contact me if you have any question. If you want to talk about anything. If you had I don't know. If you just want to say something nice to me, I appreciate that too.
Absolutely. But I can kind of back you up there, because I know we've had some good exchanges via Messenger. And when I wasn't feeling very well last week, you sent me some voice notes, and that was very cool of you. So thank you very much. But you are very approachable. And from my opinion, I think you're one of the best wrestlers in Europe. You're doing some amazing things with WXW. And we can't wait to see you back in the ring very, very soon. And hopefully back over here in the UK very soon as well.
Thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Tristan Archer, thank you very much.